attack that has taken place on military infrastructure in Russia. Ukraine has struck targets as deep as 4,300 kilometers in the eastern region of Russia as well. The drones that were used were sneakily smuggled into Russia via trucks. They were hidden in wooden crates and were then released to hit these targets. Now, reports are suggesting that the losses that have been suffered by the Russian military have amounted to $7 billion US. So what is your very first reaction to this particular Operation Spider Web, as Zelensky has dubbed it? We are also learning that it took about 18 months to plan this. Do you think it was just Ukraine, or is there a hidden hand? Is NATO's hand at play here?
He folds his hands and rests for mercy, and the drone shifts the target. Drones, and there's a viral video, it's there on YouTube, it's there everywhere, everyone has seen that. Because Russians and the Ukrainians both are right now very vicious, and there's a lot of and towards each other, and there is a lot of animosity amongst them at the moment. So both, none of them are willing to spare wherever they get a chance. So most certainly when an attack like this, earlier Ukraine was on the defensive. So we were saying that, okay, we were anticipating perhaps Russia will finish this war in 4 days. There's no match to Ukraine. But in an elephant and an ant fight, if the ant enters an elephant's trunk, it can be indeed be very, very painful and very, very lethal there. So I think in this case, a similar thing has happened. So Ukraine, which was on the defensive earlier, is now on the offensive. And more than a year back, there was an attack with a drone on President Zelensky's house on the rooftop at the flag post. Because drone attacks are very, very precise. The precision is such, they target exactly where it's to be meant by the dot. They're that precise. They've got their way of navigation. So most certainly now Ukraine, which had accused Russia for mass graves and for targeting their civilians and such things, now which has come on the offensive, and I would see it as it is a calamity for humanity, in fact. We are in good terms with both the countries, both Russia and Ukraine are our friends. We would not want destruction of humanity and human lives lost and loss of property and such things. So most certainly, I think it's about time. It's been over 3 years now that Russia and Ukraine have been at loggerheads, they've been at war. I think it's about time that both the nations have to come together, both the presidents, President Zelensky and President Putin, have to come together on a table and they got to talk. And I think America can be a very good mediator on this, because it is warming up to President Putin, in fact, because America perceives not Russia as a threat, but as China threat. So the biggest enemy for America is not Russia, it is China. So America can open the channel of communication, the gates of communication, the gates of peace for Russia and Ukraine over there, Priya.
Indeed, sir. Stay on with us. We are learning more information. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has now issued a statement on the drone attack. It's been dubbed Operation Spider Web. He has labelled it as a brilliant operation and has further stated that the preparation took over a year and a half. In total, 117 drones were used in the operation, with a corresponding number of drone operators involved. As I mentioned earlier, 34% of the strategic cruise missiles carriers stationed at Russian air bases were hit. This is what Zelensky has had to claim. Major Shah still with us on the broadcast. Sir, we're seeing a new sort of warfare. Initially, when the war had struck, we'd seen, in fact, the soldiers going to the front lines and battling it out. But we've also seen over the years the increased use of drones. What do you make of this shift from the trenches to tech?
Yes, that's a very good question and a very, very pertinent question today regarding modern warfare. Modern warfare now, it's no more as when a soldier could do 100 push-ups or run 10 miles. It is more of tech, more of the brain-oriented.
All right, sir. It seems that we've lost your connection for a bit. Kindly stay on with us. This is, of course, Zelensky's latest statement. I'd like to point to the visuals. Meanwhile, on our screens, you can see currently the visuals that Major Shah was earlier referring to. Those are visuals that these drones have taken and that some Ukrainian sources have shared. These are now circulating on social media. You can see these drones are approaching the bombers. You can also see smoke billowing from a bomber that has already been targeted, and here you have it. You see a drone approach one of the Russian bombers. It in fact hovers over it for a while. We're learning that it used AI technology in order to target specific areas of these bombers, particularly the fuel tanks. They've done it in a way so that these bombers cannot be repaired. So, of course, it's taken months of meticulous planning. Major Shah is back with us. You can continue your point.
So, most certainly. So, so the shift from being physically fit, it is important for a soldier to be physically fit, but it's mental agility and it's about technology. Nowadays, the modern warfare is all about air attacks. That involves drones, in fact. So, the Air Force or the Army Air Defense or the Naval Air Defense, they are crucial players in this because we have manpower in any force, in anywhere in the country. We have manpower in the forces, but ultimately we see touch the sky with glory. I mean, the Air Force. Air Force means not just Vayu Sena, not just Air Force, but the weaponry we have regarding the air. For example, the air, we saw earlier we still have the Bofors guns and the artillery. We still have them. We have the armored core, the tank. The battles, the wars were fought on bravery and on how the long range. But now in India itself, we fired long range missiles to Pakistan. In fact, there was a lot of speculation, a lot of news about what weapon it could be. Our Air Marshal in the press briefing said, I will not tell you what weapon it was we had used.
We've lost your connection once again. I will come back to you. But meanwhile, we're getting some updates from Russia. Russia's defense ministry has issued a statement following Ukraine's largest drone attack. The statement reads that the Kiev regime carried out a terrorist attack using FPV drones against airfields in Murmansk, Irkutsk, Ivanovo, Ryazan and Amur regions. They have stated that all terrorist attacks were repelled at military airfields in Ivanovo, Ryazan and Amur regions. Meanwhile, in Murmansk and Irkutsk regions, as a result of FPV drones launched from an area in close proximity to the airfields, several aircrafts caught fire. You can see those visuals on our screens. The fire was under and there were in fact no casualties amongst military and civilian personnel. This is something that Russia's defense ministry has highlighted and emphasized. Now, some participants of the terror attacks were detained is what Russia's defense ministry has to say. It's of course the latest statement that Russia has put out. Remember, there are of course bid by the Donald Trump administration in order to broker peace. Meanwhile, Russia's defense ministry has categorically come out and slammed this particular attack. Russia's defense ministry has stated that this is a terrorist attack that was carried out by FPV drones against airfields. They've named the airfields. These airfields were in Murmansk, Irkutsk, Ivanovo, Ryazan and the Amur regions. This is of course the latest that we are tracking. Major Shah still with us on the broadcast. I've just read out the statement that has been put forth by the Russian defense ministry. They've labeled it a terrorist attack. But of course, what's interesting is the manner in which this was carried out, the manner in which these trucks were smuggled in thousands of kilometers. What lessons do you think India can draw as far as repelling such attacks are concerned?
Well, first thing is, when we in India, if I draw a parallel to first taking back to 7th of October, 2 years back, 2023. In fact, the attack by Hamas in Israel, there were a lot of lessons to be drawn over there as well. And unfortunately, a similar kind of an attack inspired by that took place in Pelgam on 22nd of April this year, last month. So there was a lot of lesson to be taken from that as well, and not a lesson from this. So this is a wake-up call for everyone that anything can be possible. Security does not mean sitting in your trenches with a soldier, not having sleepless nights, keeping guard. Alertness in the sense that we have to be very well prepared in any way possible, because especially so, an aerial attack is it's very dangerous. An aerial attack is indeed very dangerous, much more dangerous than a land attack or a sea attack, because even if you move an army on ground, what if someone comes and attacks you from top, from the air? It can happen anywhere. It can happen in the most peaceful city. It can happen in the capital of any country. So yes, the lessons learned over here is our air defense system should be very strong, which it is. We proved with our S-400, we proved every single projectile by Pakistan. We had intercepted them. We had sent it back. So in India, yes, so the lessons drawn is regarding security does not mean only being alert. Security means also we have got to be prepared to stop any attack, any eventuality here.
All right, sir. With that, I would like to thank you for taking our time speaking to NewsX this morning, of course, sharing your perspective.